2013 was a transition year, in my eyes, from good to bad. But what made it better than 14 or 16 was the sheer quantity of good songs to combat the bad.
It's way easier to judge a year's quality in hindsight. I lived 2013, and radio was pretty bad.
But even when listening to radio became bleak, one of these could turn my day around. Remember, I'm only looking at the end of your Hot 100, so it's nothing but the hits, baby. No reason to stall any further. I'm counting down. The top 10 best songs of 2013. Number 10. As a content creator, YouTube is always telling me how to better my channel and grow retention rates.
Man, I do what I want.
One of the biggest tips they preach is to catch your audience up front. Keep them watching.
What this translates to for me is don't start a top 10 with something nobody likes. Why do I do this to myself?
I wanna scream and shout and let it all out and scream and shout.
Thanks for watching. It was nice seeing you. Here's your complimentary tote bag. Make sure you smash that dislike button and have a nice day.
Look, I get it. It's another will.i.am song recycling his previous work. Britney sounds clueless as to whether she should be talking or singing. Everything lyrically has been said.
Yes, Todd said it all already. But
my enjoyment of this song comes from its punchy and very effective production. It reminds me mostly of the Blue Man Group. Blue Man Group is fun, and that may be part of the reason I can't help from bobbing my head along to it.
even if you don't agree, you gotta admit that will.i.am writes one hell of a melody.
I'm not just talking about the chorus either. I like the plunky rhythm in the verses. Those contrasting tones meld together and carry whatever nonsense Britney is talking about.
When we up in the club, all eyes on us.
Good thing, too. I can dance to this song that nobody likes without shame.
But that bridge, it's transcendent. Those quarter note triplets are, Will talks about longing for the good feelings to last, and that moving bass. I used to truly love this song, but time has revealed the gaping holes, and now I just think the song is great rather than top 5.
And thanks for staying, even if you have half the respect for me than you did before.
Number 9.
I'll repeat, do not start a list with controversial picks. If you're dumb like me, you'll start it with 2.
Enough people have taken shots at how Miley isn't talented and she sucks, and yeah, you've heard it. But her music has always had one thing I can get behind, and that is how easy it is to sing along to. I'll use a modern example.
I had a dream.
Selena Gomez is her average amount of terrible, but if I don't say so myself, the melodies she's singing are pretty great. I find it easy to sing along to.
It's very easy to forget Selena singing when I'm louder. Ha ha.
The same goes for We Can't Stop, a party song that goes full circle back to the depressing spectacle Miley Cyrus was in 2013.
The song's a bummer. The catchiest bummer possible.
The delivery and the subject matter is not just about partying nonstop, it's about an addiction to it. Whether it be the semi-slow tempo or the dark nature of the video, the song is more real than maybe even Miley would admit to.
If you think it's more shallow than that, you're probably right.
That's not going to stop me from giving every possible excuse as to why I like this song. So basically, it's a song I can sing along to while feeling the massive irony in the lyrics.
Look at that, I'm fresh out of guilty pleasures. We can move on with the list.
Number 8. I've always said it takes one song for me to turn my opinion around on an artist. Sometimes it takes time for such an artist to be better to me.
Because what I think about pop artists is very important, and I need to be pleased.
Usually these songs are a complete change of pace and a semi-radical shift in direction.
What I think you do is you quicken your tempos and make an upbeat song. And it's their most popular.
Everything that kills me makes me feel alive. I've been losing sleep.
I feel bad for you if you didn't like this song because it was outright dominant in 2013. The only thing it couldn't capture was number 1 on Billboard, but radio loved it. Every mix station had to have it because it was practically adult contemporary with a pulse, and every pop station had it because it was huge.
So if you hate overplay, I'm sure you hate this song. Coffin!
Ryan Tedder is carrying this song. His delivery is firm and graceful. His melodies are fluid and fun to follow along. There's high slurs, fantastic and balanced harmonies and spots, and words about branching out that I can take seriously.
I'm fired up and tired of the way that things have been. Oh.
Someone else should take notes. Man, I hate Believer.
Song is also a great ensemble piece. The guitar's light 8-note pattern keeps everything moving with the accentive additions from drums, clapping, and tambourine. The piano chords are ominous and add great texture to the verses and chorus. They're instruments that carry transitions like the harp flourishes.
Everything that drowns me makes me wanna fly.
At the least, this is a very solid tune that earned all the acclaim it received. Number 7.
I should be over all the butterflies, but I'm into you.
Ah, there it is.
Barely qualifying at 100, Still Into You was the return of Paramore, but way, way, way more pop than they'd ever been.
Hey, it got them radio play. I'm definitely not mad about it.
Almost immediately, we watched them go from Fist in the Air Rebellion to a silly little love song about long-term bliss.
Hell, I'm embracing it.
Hearing Paramore on the radio has always been refreshing. Splitting up the faux EDM and the boring sludge that became pop radio in 2013 with a rock band was crucial.
We know what it's like without good stuff.
Since their return, they added one other instrument. Can you guess what it is?
It's not a walk in the park to love each other.
Give up?
I'll give you a hint.
Not enough music has mallet percussion, but Paramore has found the perfect way to implement them into their modern music. Hard Times has a marimba, Ain't It Fun has a xylophone, and Still Into You has bells. They're used to highlight the guitar part, which again is just what I want to hear on the radio. This song flat out rocks, and we're lucky enough to have given Paramore the 2 hits they got. Number 6. One of the biggest things 2013 lacked was punch. There weren't enough songs that made you get up and move. Hell, the only song on this list resembling this idea was the drums for that last song.
Are you gonna get motivated listening to Counting Stars? No, you're just gonna lightly jostle to it.
The song needs force and personality, a debut or a comeback, and maybe even an outlandish premise.
Actually, who cares about that? Just play that kickin' music.
This song may as well be in a different language. I do not care about the lyrics at all. Critics are mean, I do it for appreciation, yada yada yada.
To me, it's lofty nonsense.
What isn't is the music. Lady Gaga can make some tight music when she needs to. Just Dance and Bad Romance are exactly that. So when you have a new album and the lead-off single needs to set a precedent, you release Applause, which is about power.
You might say it makes you want to clap your hands?
By design, the beat centers around 2 and 4 with its slam and snare hit.
I stand here waiting for.
That's exactly where it's appropriate to put your hands together.
Or you could be that rhythmically challenged guy who claps on 1 and 3.
But saying the song excels is almost completely ironic, considering one of my favorite parts is practically absent of rhythm. Genius craftsmanship. The song stays in tempo while the beat does a ramp up into the chorus that'll hit you like a freight train. Whatever Gaga is saying is overshadowed by the force in her voice.
Live free with bing bong and a dove, turn my brights on.
It's catchy and a joy to sing along to also, so more of a plus. It was a song that held up the summer before the summer became the worst thing for music.
Great song. Whatever it's about, crickets or something.
Number 5. Hindsight is a two-way street. Sometimes the thing you hate at the time can become okay or even likable. Clarity was my number 1 worst until I realized that Zed is too lame to get any superlatives. 4 years will do that to your opinions.
I preface a song like this because it was my number 1 in 2013.
Daft Punk doesn't get enough work. Team them up with any popular act of the time and you've got a surefire hit. Their production is second to none when it comes to... guys, wrong song.
Like the legend of the Phoenix.
There you go. We also have Nile Rodgers laying down that smooth guitar. The same 4-measure riff on loop, probably the easiest gig of his career. It works as an extra flavor, combining it with Daft's sound mash as well. There truly aren't enough good things I can say about the music. The bass is undeniably funky, the drums are smooth and delicate.
And welcome back, Pharrell.
2013 brought him back in 2 songs, and he batted 500.
Actually, I'd make it 750. He only said one word on Blurred Lines.
He sounds cool and collected from start to finish. He maintains the level of smooth throughout all parts of the song, from the soaring bridges to the casual flow of the chorus and verses.
4 years ago, that's why I believe the song was #1. I addressed why not a month ago.
The thing about Get Lucky was that it didn't age well, multiple listen-wise. When it hit radio in 2013, it was undoubtedly the greatest thing of the year, and yet it got old over the passing years. Get Lucky is a song we are able to sing along to even if it's your first time hearing it. This is both an attribute and a detriment. Positive because the song is incredibly catchy and joyous.
It's a negative because fuck is it repetitive.
Other than being a nearly perfect song, it does not age great if you listen to it consistently for 2 years after the fact. Around 2015, I had soured on the song, and it was entirely my fault.
I truly underestimated the raw evil that is overplay.
This is my explanation as to why I couldn't personally see it any higher than 5.
Other than that, the song is perfect and in the middle of the list. Life is weird.
Number 4.
So what if applause wasn't pretentious critic backlash? What if it was powerful for the sake of being powerful? I present to you the Kings of 2013.
Can we go back? This is the moment. Tonight is the night. We'll fight till it's over.
Applause was stuffed with decent, powerful elements that came together. Can't Hold Us is anchored with 2 components which transcend good, the piano and those drums. First, the latter, which is probably the most beat-heavy song I've heard in a while. The combination of bass and clapping creates this unstoppable momentum that carries the song. There's also bongos, tambourines, snare, and occasional hi-hat interspersed perfectly. And sometimes it's altered to fit the scenario. That brings us to the piano riff that makes me wish I could play because there aren't many 16-note riffs that control a song the way this one does.
I'd say Ryan Lewis carries the song, except...
Looking for a better way to get up out of bed instead of getting on the internet and checking a new hit me get up.
Macklemore just goes for it. Other than that transcendent perfection from 2015, this is the hardest he's ever gone in a song. He holds nothing back and proves he's the best rapper with not enough sales.
I'm not mad or anything.
Plus, Ray Dalton kills the chorus.
And then we keep marching. Can we go back? This is the moment. Tonight is the night. We'll fight till it's over. So we put our hands up.
He brings the theme of greatness around through an altered cliche, which was an already well-established theme both Ryan's production and Mac's lyrics reinforce. Can't Hold Us was the best song about having a good time in an otherwise dumb and boring year for music. Number 3.
I'm gonna pop some tags. Only got $20 in my pocket. I'm hunting, looking for a come up. This is fucking awesome.
Hell yeah, this is fucking awesome.
Call it dumb, even call it bad if you want. But admit to yourself that you gotta be one cynical person to not admit that this song is a barrel of fun. Trust me, if you share a car with 3 other people and it comes on, you'll understand.
This is why Macklemore is considered a novelty.
The problem is it's what he's best at. Macklemore is a funny guy, and that shows in the song. Unfortunately, this made people pigeonhole Mac into this novelty category. Thrift Shop is the only song off the heist that's this silly, and out of the 5 biggest hits, his corniest 2 are my favorites.
Maybe we step down from our high horse and have some fun with it.
As for the song itself, it's pretty solid. The sax riff is nifty, complemented with neighbor-angering bass.
I get copping it, washing it, about to go and get some compliments.
It fits with Macklemore describing the appeal of an 80 and up rack.
Grandpa, John Wayne, Granddad,
Granddad.
Everything about the song is great, but it pales in comparison to the perfection that is the chorus.
Not only do I think this is the best chorus of 2013, I also think Juan's is the best feature of the year. His delivery is exactly what the song needed. He makes the goofiest topics sound exceedingly cool.
And what's cooler than jazz feel?
I'm gonna pop some tags. Only got $20 in my pocket.
I never thought swing feel could carry a pop song, but Thrift Shop is proof it can be done. It gives itself a laid-back aesthetic that lets you know to take your shoes off and relax. And it all culminates with the latter half of the chorus.
I'm I'm gonna pop some tags. Only got $20 in my pocket.
Everything comes together to form an incredible mesh of enjoyable and powerful. This song is amazing, and if you think otherwise,
Get out of my car. You can walk.
number 2.
Come back. Next song's the polar opposite.
This is a first for me, because I don't think I've ever talked about 2 consecutive songs that are completely different tonally.
So you're telling your friends about the cool leather jacket you bought at Goodwill, and you're having a great time. And then Kendrick walks in and starts talking to you about alcoholism? Dude.
Why you babysitting? Only 2 or 3 shots. I'ma show you how to turn it up a notch.
Our introduction to Kendrick came in 2013, and he crushed his first hit. It's a serious song with an endlessly enjoyable beat helmed by a crazy talented rapper.
An alcohol problem has never sounded so good.
That's what the song's about, taking a very negative thing and making it sound great.
Why you babysitting? Only 2 or 3 shots. I'ma show you how to turn it up a notch. First you get a swim.
And what sounds better than a sewer level?
Why you babysitting? Only 2 or 3 shots. I'ma show you how to turn it up a notch. First you get a swimming pool full of.
That eclectic synthesizer reminds me of that sound a dripping faucet would make, but like it was recorded in a massive room. The echo effects fill out the chorus.
Like, I don't know, maybe a swimming pool full of liquor?
Everything here is big. The sing-along chorus, the invasive yet incredible bass line, and the gargantuan real emotion flooding every nook and cranny of the song. It brings together the elation of having a good time with a sobering dose of reality in a way no other song has.
Drinking has never sounded so terrible. But it keeps telling me to drink.
Speaking of, Kendrick has an immaculate talent for making hooks with as few and effective words as possible.
Pull up,
Frank,
headshot,
Frank,
sit down,
Frank,
stand up.
Frank.
Hearing a word as silly as drank repeated shouldn't work, but it only gets cooler as the song goes. Some people could learn how to use it.
Drink.
Why does everybody like that song? Save it for the end of year, me.
The song even has 2 instances of voice shifting, both up and down, and they are perfectly utilized.
You see, he does it to tell a story, not to make a shit chorus.
All in all, the song is a complete masterpiece, and humbling that we are lucky enough to have Kendrick at all.
And to pad the video out, here's some honorable mentions. What? It's good to delay the number 1 with unnecessary suspense.
It's weird, because there was this compromising time in my life when I actually liked Imagine Dragons. They were an intriguing crossover act that had the potential to do great things.
It didn't take until their 4th single for me to completely give up hope.
Before my disappointment, there was Radioactive, the best example of how to use a concert bass drum in a song. The song serves its exact purpose by sounding toxic and huge all at once.
And I believe it.
And we'll never be royal.
Standard honorable mention fodder. Too good to be overlooked, but a little too pretentious to make the list. But Lord's Presence was a breath of fresh air and a year on autopilot. Very solid song worth the time.
I'd probably look like a hypocrite if it made the list, mainly because I like to scream and shout and can't stop. Speaking of boringly solid,
With those nifty horns and soaring vocals, Safe and Sound is that indie crossover that's too good not to like. It's also a bit too generic and lame to love, but I still listen to it whenever it comes on.
hey, list ordering me. Yeah? Why didn't this make the list? It's super cool retro funk with Bruno Mars at the helm. I don't know. Overplay? What? That can't be an excuse 4 years after the fact. Then why was it you barely listened to it in 2013? That's what I thought. It's gonna be an honorable mention and you're gonna like it. Especially considering if it was 2013, you wouldn't even put it on your list at all.
That's basically how I feel about the song with a 4-year break from the thousands of times I heard it on the radio. I'm sure if I made this list again in 4 years, it would make it.
And as long as I got my suit and tie.
Yet another song that should have made the list, yet I only think it's good rather than great.
What can you do? That's what happens when your taste in music is shit.
But seriously, JT's return was perfect in 2013. He did what he could to redeem the year as much as possible.
He would save his truly awful backwash for 2014.
Justin is the kind of undeniable retro cool that carries the song, and even Jay-Z is pretty solid. even if I still think both of their parts sound like they came from two completely different songs.
I'll definitely take them being cool over whiny.
Number 1. Usually my picks for songs that top my list are bombastic forces that are massively better than the songs below them. I'd still put Downtown in my top 10 favorite songs of all time. Hell, even Wow is an anomaly of weird, culminating into an epic song about elephants and rooms.
I wouldn't look too far into that one.
But what were the towering songs of 2013? The introduction of Kendrick? The introduction of Macklemore and Ryan Lewis?
The best song of 2013 isn't a crazy new idea or by a radically different artist. It's by a boring old pop star with an average comeback. Who is that?
You ready, JT?
I can't.
Justin Timberlake's solo career has definitely been a positive influence for popular music. Who would have thought the ramen-headed boy band member would be one of the strongest hitmakers of the 2000s? JT's volume of songs was minimal between 2006 and 2013. Other than featuring with Timbaland and more, we had 7 years without a big solo release from him.
This was a huge bummer, because the man knows how to write one hell of a love song.
I don't wanna lose you now. I'm looking right at the other half of me.
Love is a cliche. It's one of the most written about topics in music ever. It's really hard to find new and inventive ways to convey the emotions that come along with love.
Do you know what I think the best way to make a love song is? Make it as realistic as possible.
I'm lucky enough to have had some decent relationships in my life, and I can tell you from personal experience, no song has better encapsulated relationship bliss like this one. You can claim that from a jaded, outside standpoint that Justin Timberlake only sees himself in his loved one, and the only attractive way to display love is by being in love with yourself.
You can make that argument, but part of that is why the song is so amazing.
A big part of a relationship is seeing a lot of yourself in your significant other, or at least what happened to me in those relationships. Mirrors displays what it's like when you have that second person you'd classify as your better half. He speaks in terms of parallels, reflections, and halves. The song uses these words to convey complete teamwork. And lately, it's making being single super shitty.
But if you don't want to think about it, the music can carry the song for you.
Apparently, Timbaland shelved the song in 2009, and it contributes to the timeless aesthetic of the song. The Wait also provided studio editions of new keyboards, guitars, and orchestra strings. Timberlake even called the song special to him.
It shows.
Take Justin here versus Suit and Tie. He's good in both, but Suit is a reversed kind of cool. He's definitely pulling it off, but it's all a bit too effortless. Mirrors has Justin digging into true feelings, projecting true experience and happiness. He sounds like a guy in love, and I believe him.
I can't ever change without you. You reflect me, I love that about you.
Did I forget to mention the orchestra?
The song is anchored with these nearly ambient string lines and beatbox-inspired beat, which sounds like a mess, but fit together too well. The song's quaint structure even manages to outdo seemingly bigger songs of the year. Thrift Shop and Swimming Pools are both huge rap songs with a message, and they still manage to get trumped by a little love song. They're fun to follow along to, but I feel Mirrors. It's a magical song that rightfully dominated a crummy year.
No more top 10s for a while. I am pooped.
Oh boy, that was a lot of script. It was fun as always, so I don't mind. Check out my worst of 2013. And here's my best of last year. It's unconventional enough. What's next? Best of 2015 YouTube committee. She's all tallied up, so I'll get to recording it quick fast.